The day I transmigrated into the Infinite game, a server-wide announcement broadcasted that I was so broke I only had a pair of boxer briefs to my name. While other players were kissing up to top-tier whales begging for a carry, I pulled out a megaphone and shouted to the entire server. Junk collector. Trading trash for lives. With a 24-hour time limit on the novice quest, I looted corpses, sold intel, and made deals with bosses. In 3 days, I netted nearly 50,000. Everyone laughed at me, calling me a suicidal scammer who'd get eliminated sooner or later. That is, until my ex-girlfriend kneeled in front of me to borrow money. I flicked a single black sheep coin at her feet. A tip for you. The world chat exploded with spam calling me a god. I glanced back at my account balance and smiled harmlessly. Trade secret. Public channel. ID 5566. Isn't this my useless ex-boyfriend? Sure enough, trash is still trash no matter where it goes. I stared at that ID in the public channel, my eyes turning cold for a second. The ex-girlfriend who had pushed me onto the subway tracks was now calling me trash in a survival game. A mechanical system voice exploded above my head. Newbie number 8847. Initial assets. Minus 2,850 black sheep coins. Congratulations, you have broken the record for the poorest player in this zone. A barrage of comments floated over my head. LMAO, starting in debt. Did this bro owe loan sharks in his past life, or something? Scatter, guys. He's just cannon fodder who won't last 3 days. I stared at the glaring negative number on the holographic screen. If I could do it all over again, I'd make money. I'd make so much money that the wretched woman would beg me on her knees. And then, I did get to do it over again. Here I was, in an infinite game where everyone had superpowers, monsters ran rampant, and murder was completely legal. It's just that my starting conditions were a little tragic. I looked down at myself. I really was down to my last pair of boxers. I couldn't even afford the novice starter pack. Ding. Insufficient player assets detected. System forcing novice quest. Make your assets positive within 24 hours, or face obliteration. The chat blew up again. Make 2850 in 24 hours? Doesn't the novice quest usually give you supplies? He triggered the hell mode novice quest. Haha, I bet he won't survive the night. I pulled my boxers up a bit, opened the public channel, and typed out a line. Collecting junk. Trading trash for lives. Buying all and used supplies at a premium. More volume, better deals. The public channel went dead silent for 3 seconds. Then, an overwhelming wave of question marks and mockery flooded in. Is there something wrong with this guy's brain? Collecting junk in a survival game. Where'd you get that kind of confidence, bro? I ignored the comments and posted it again. Collecting junk. Trading trash for lives. Coordinates. Novice Zone, Plaza 3. After posting, I closed the channel and squatted in the corner of the plaza to wait. Half an hour into the game, all the newbies were busy clinging to strong players, finding guilds, or fighting over supplies. No one would trust a broke loser with a 2,850 debt. But I wasn't waiting for them. I was waiting for the smart ones. The first fish to bite was a scrawny guy wearing glasses. He walked over, his neck shrunk into his shoulders, his voice as quiet as a mosquito's. Do you really collect junk? I gave him a quick once-over. Novice t-shirt, ripped jeans, tightly gripping a rusty screwdriver. Typical cannon fodder gear. What are you selling? I cut straight to the chase. He dug into his pockets and pulled out 3 things. Half a pack of compressed biscuits, a bottle of water, and a crumpled piece of paper. This is everything I have. What can you give me? I picked up the paper and took a look. Hand-drawn novice zone map. It marked several supply spawn points and monster zones. Not bad. What do you want? I asked him. He kept his head down, picking at his fingers for a long time. I want to live. A very practical answer. I nodded. Deal. Give these to me, and I'll carry you through the novice quest. His eyes lit up. Really? Really? I stood up and dusted off my butt. Let's go. I'll take you to pick up some trash first. The chat fired up again. LMAO, he's in debt himself, and he's going to carry someone else. He just wants to find a meat shield, right? Grabbing popcorn to watch these 2 cannon fodders die together. I ignored them. I led glasses straight to the east side of the novice zone, the monster-dense area marked on his map. B-bro. Glasses' legs turned to jelly. There are monsters over there. B-rank ones. I know. I didn't even turn my head. Where there are the most monsters, there are the most dead people. And dead people have the most loot. He stood there stunned for a second, but actually followed me. 7 or 8 corpses were scattered along the edge of the monster zone. They were all unlucky bastards who had died in the first half hour of the game. I squatted down and started looting the bodies. Glasses was dry heaving next to me. Bro, can we please go somewhere else? Shut up. I pulled a badge out of a corpse's pocket, my eyes lighting up. Temporary party badge, C rank. Can temporarily form a 5-person party for 24 hours. Value, 1,200 black sheep coins. This thing could easily flip for 2,000 plus in the public trading room. Finding a treasure right off the bat. Heaven really doesn't let a blind sparrow starve. I pocketed the badge and kept looting. I pulled out a broken dagger for minor health potions and a compressed energy bar. And another crumpled piece of paper. Hidden boss spawn coordinates, novice zone. I smiled. No wonder this guy died here. Holding onto a hot potato like this, it's a miracle he wasn't hacked to pieces sooner. Let's go. I stood up and clapped my hands. Next stop. Where to? To sell a map. In the central plaza of the novice zone, several small groups were recruiting new members. I walked over, pulled out the hidden boss spawn coordinates, and spread it on the ground. Fresh out of the oven. Boss coordinates. 500 black sheep coins a copy. First come, first served. Honest prices, satisfaction guaranteed. The plaza went silent for a second. Then, it erupted. Where did a newbie like you get boss coordinates? Is it a fake? This kid was just begging for junk a minute ago. Now he's selling boss cords? What kind of act is this? I smiled cheerfully at them. Fake or real, buy it and try it. 500 coins. You won't lose out. You won't get scammed. If it's fake, come back and stab me. A guy with dyed blonde hair walked over and picked up the map. These coordinates. What about them? He lowered his voice. You looted this off Wang Lao's corpse, didn't you? I saw him head east earlier, and he never came back. Wang Lao? Must be the unlucky bastard who died. So what if I did? Blondie smirked. Wang Lao was my brother. His stuff belongs to me. He shoved the map into his pocket and turned to leave. Stop right there, I called out. He glanced back. What? You want to fight? I pointed behind him. Take a look at what that is. Blondie instinctively turned his head. The next second, a flash of white light exploded under his feet. Basic trap card. I had spent 50 coins to buy it instantly from the public trading room. Blondie was blown flat onto his back, and the map fluttered to the ground. I bent down, picked it up, dusted it off, and kept shouting. Boss cords. 500 a copy. The gentleman here just personally tested its authenticity. If you don't believe me, ask him. Blondie lay groaning on the ground, unable to get up. The crowd's eyes changed as they looked at me. This kid has some tricks up his sleeve. Was that a trap card? Where does a newbie get a trap card? Damn, is he actually loaded, or is he faking being broke? I continued pitching. Last 3 copies. When they're gone, I'm closing shop. 5 minutes later, 3 copies were sold. Net profit, 1,500 black sheep coins. Glasses was dumbfounded. Bro, how did you do that? I pocketed the coins. You want the truth or a lie? The truth. The truth is. I looked at him. The boss spawn point is real, but the spawn time is 3 a.m. It's only 12 p.m. right now. Even if they rush over there, they'll just be waiting 15 hours for nothing. Glasses, isn't that scamming? Scamming. I chuckled. The coordinates are real, the boss is real, and the spawn time is real. I just didn't tell them the exact time. That's called an information gap. Understand? He nodded, looking like he only half understood. Let's go. Next stop. Where to? The public trading room. The public trading room was the main circulation hub for game supplies. Players could buy and sell anything here, with the system taking a 10% cut. I stood at the entrance, watching the real-time transaction logs flash across the holographic screen. Broken dagger, real-time price, 180 coins. Minor health potion, real-time price, 350 coins / bottle. Compressed energy bar, real-time price, 120 coins / bar. I quickly did the math in my head. 3 potions for 1050, the energy bar for 120, the dagger for 180. Total, 1350. Minus the 10% system tax, 1215. Account balance, minus 135. Glasses whispered next to me. Bro, you're still short 135. What do we do? I didn't answer. Instead, I asked him, What do you think is the hardest part of the novice zone? He thought about it. Surviving. Wrong. I shook my head. The hardest part of the novice zone is what happens after you survive today. All the newbies are only thinking about how to live through today. No one is thinking about tomorrow. But the ones who actually make it to the end are the ones who figure out how they're going to survive tomorrow. He looked completely lost. I didn't explain further and started operating the terminal. I listed the potions, the energy bar, and the dagger on the market. 10 minutes later, everything sold. While I was at it, I scrolled through the transaction logs and noticed a familiar ID buying up massive quantities of minor health potions. Talk about a lingering ghost. My ex-girlfriend. I checked the market trends. She had already artificially inflated the price of health potions significantly. Trying to form a monopoly? I sneered and listed the last health potion I had kept for myself at an outrageously high price. If she didn't buy it, the price ceiling would crash. If she bought it, she'd be taking a massive loss to secure the bag. Either way, she was the loser. Glasses looked at the numbers on my screen. Bro, we're still short over 100. It's fine. I checked the time. There are 22 hours left on the 24-hour clock. No rush. It's fine. Do you have more money? I patted my pocket. The temporary party badge was still there. This is worth more than everything we just sold combined, I said. But I'm not selling it yet. Then when are you selling it? After I use it. The chat started up again. I take back what I said. This guy knows what he's doing. From heavily in debt to only minus 100 in just 1 hour. But he's still short. How's he going to make the rest? That badge he has looks pretty valuable. Sitting back and waiting for him to crash and burn. I ignored the chat and led Glasses out of the trading room. Bro, where are we going now? To take a big job. Over a dozen players were gathered at the entrance of the B-rank novice dungeon. Abandoned hospital. This was the toughest bone to chew in the novice zone. The clear rate was under 30%, but the rewards were rich, a guaranteed 2,000 black sheep coins upon clearing. I stood at the entrance and pulled out the temporary party badge. Recruiting party members. B-rank dungeon. Looking for stable players. Requirement. Obey orders. Don't rush blindly. Follow my lead. A group of people turned to look at me. Who is this kid? The guy who was selling maps earlier. Holy shit. He's going into a B-rank dungeon? Does he have a death wish? A newbie leading a newbie. Isn't that just suicide? I ignored them and kept yelling. Only taking 3. Experienced players preferred. Loot distributed based on contribution. A burly bald man walked over. You? Leading the party. I nodded. He laughed. Little bro, do you have any idea how many people have died in this dungeon? A fresh newbie like you walking in is just a free meal for the monsters. I looked him in the eye. Are you joining or not? He paused. Me? You said I was walking to my death, right? Prove it. Prove you're stronger than me. You lead, and I'll play support. Baldy was backed into a corner, his expression turning ugly. People around us started jeering. Go for it, Baldy. Show him what real skill looks like. Put on the spot, he couldn't back down. Finally, he gritted his teeth. Fine. I'll open your eyes today. Invite me. I tossed the badge and pulled him into the party. Then I resumed shouting. Need 2 more. Anyone with some guts. Nobody laughed this time. A girl with a ponytail stepped forward. Me. I have C-rank clear records. I've attempted this B-rank dungeon twice and survived. I gave her a quick glance. Calm eyes, steady footing, fully geared. A veteran. Welcome. The last person was a silent man who hadn't spoken a word. He just looked at me and clicked join. Our 5-man squad was complete. Me, Glasses, Baldy, Ponytail, and Silent Guy. I checked the party interface. Temporary party. Time remaining, 23 hours. Let's go. I took the lead and pushed open the hospital doors. The abandoned hospital was deeply unsettling. The doors to the patient rooms on both sides of the corridor were half open, emitting faint, ghostly whimpers. What are the mechanics of this dungeon? Glasses whispered. Baldy scoffed. You dare lead a party without even knowing the mechanics? Truly a newbie. I ignored him and kept walking. Ponytail explained. The core monster of the B-rank abandoned hospital is the head nurse. She's B-plus rank. 5,000 HP, high attack, high speed. But she has one weakness. She can't leave a 30-meter radius of the nurse's station. There are 3 floors. First floor is normal mobs. Second floor is elites. Third floor is the boss. We have to reach the 3rd floor within 30 minutes. or the monsters will respawn. Also, medical supplies randomly spawn. Looting them adds to your score, and rewards are distributed based on your points after we clear. I nodded after listening. Understood. Baldy snorted again. What good is understanding? Can you actually fight? I stopped and looked back at him. Who said anything about fighting? He froze. Not fighting? Then how do we clear the dungeon? I didn't answer. I just looked down the hallway at the brightly lit nurse's station. Inside, a woman in a white coat was hunched over, writing something. Head nurse, B+ rank. HP, 5,000/5,000. Baldy lowered his voice. What the fuck? Why did the boss spawn on the first floor? This isn't normal. Ponytail frowned. Is the dungeon bugged? The head nurse is supposed to be on the third floor. Silent Guy finally spoke, his voice raspy. It's not a bug. Someone triggered the third floor early and kite her down here. We all turned to look at him. He pointed at the ceiling. There's movement upstairs. He was right. Chaotic footsteps and screams were coming from the floor above us. Someone entered the dungeon before us. Baldy looked pale. Now the head nurse is blocking the stairs. If we want to get to the third floor, we have to go through her. This is suicide. Glasses was already shaking. Bro, maybe we should retreat. I stared at the woman in the nurse's station. She was writing, not even lifting her head. But out of the corner of her eye, she was constantly glancing in our direction. She was waiting for us to cross. Waiting for us to throw our lives away. I took a deep breath and pulled something out of my pocket. Novice Megaphone, D rank. Allows one all-channel broadcast within the current dungeon. Cooldown, 24 hours. I had looted this off the dead guy outside and hadn't used it yet. Now was the perfect time. I turned on the megaphone, cleared my throat, and shouted toward the nurse's station. Sister nurse, how about we make a deal? Total silence. Baldy's eyes went wide. Are you crazy? Ponytail looked at me in disbelief. What kind of deal are you making with her? I ignored them and kept yelling. That group upstairs is causing you a lot of trouble, aren't they? I'll handle them for you. And you let us up to the third floor. Sound good. The pen in the nurse's station stopped. The woman slowly raised her head and looked at us. Her face was deathly pale without a trace of blood, but her eyes were dripping red. You, she rasped. Based on what? I pointed at the ceiling. There are 8 people up there, right? You chased them down 3 flights of stairs. You killed 3, and 5 got away. But those 5 run fast. You can't catch them. All you can do is wait down here for them to come down and die. But you don't know when they'll come down, or if they'll just slip out the back door. But I know. The head nurse narrowed her eyes. You know? Of course. I smiled. Because I'm a junk collector. And the #1 rule of collecting junk is, wherever the dead bodies are, that's where I go. Earlier at the entrance, I saw 5 sneaky guys slip in through the back door. Well-geared, perfectly coordinated. They're obviously veteran exploiters trying to cheese the dungeon. They're on the 3rd floor right now, waiting for you to leave the nurse's station so they can slip out the back. Unfortunately, I pointed to myself, I left a little something at the back door. Baldy leaned in and whispered, What did you leave? I whispered back, Absolutely nothing. I'm bluffing. Baldy. The head nurse was silent for 3 seconds. Then, she smiled. It was a terrifying smile, but her eyes weren't as hostile. Interesting. She stood up and walked to the door of the station. You're the first newbie who's dared to make a deal with me. I kept my smile. So, do we have a deal? She didn't answer directly. She just looked at me. What do you want? Safe passage to the 3rd floor so we can fight the boss. Once we're done, we'll teleport out immediately so we don't get in your way. That's it. That's it. She thought for a moment and nodded. Fine. But if you're lying to me, I know. If I'm lying, I'll be the first to die. The head nurse stepped aside. Go on up. They're hiding on the east side of the 3rd floor. I led the party past her. As I walked by the nurse's station, I casually tossed a bottle onto her desk. Minor health potion. The 350 coin one. She looked down at it. What's the meaning of this? A greeting gift, I said. Guarding the station all day must get boring, sister nurse. Have something to drink and refresh yourself. She paused, then smiled. It wasn't quite as terrifying this time. Baldy didn't dare exhale until we reached the 3rd floor. Holy fuck, you actually have balls of steel. Making a deal with a boss? Ponytail looked at me completely differently now. How did you know she would agree? I put the megaphone away. I didn't. It was a gamble. A gamble. Baldy turned green. You gambled with our lives? What was the alternative? I stared at him. Charge her? Could you have beaten her? He choked on his words. Glasses whispered, but bro, what if she said no? If she said no, we negotiate further. I didn't bat an eye. It's business. No deal gets struck on the first round. If she didn't like plan A, I had plan B, C, and D. Only if talks broke down completely would we consider fighting. Silent Guy suddenly spoke up. You said you left something at the back door. What did you leave? I looked at him and blinked. I didn't leave anything. But didn't you guys notice? Since we walked in, the back door has been flashing a faint red light. They all looked toward the back door at the end of the hallway. It was true. A faint red light was pulsing through the crack in the door. What is that? Ponytail asked. No idea. I shrugged. But the head nurse thinks it's a trap I set. She won't verify it because leaving the station is her weakness. So to her, it's a trap. Baldy was speechless for a long time before choking out. Are you a fucking monster? I ignored him and kept walking. On the east side of the third floor, 5 players were resting. They had high-end gear and were in good condition. Definitely professional dungeon farmers. Seeing us come up, the leader, a guy with a scar on his face, frowned. Newbies. I nodded. Excuse us. We're here to fight the boss. Scarface laughed. Fight the boss. You bunch of misfits. The guys behind him started laughing too. Glasses shrunk back. Baldy looked grim but didn't say a word. He knew he was outmatched. Scarface stood up, blocking our path. We claimed this dungeon. You either roll out of here, or you die. The atmosphere froze. I sighed. Why do people always force my hand? I pulled a piece of paper out of my pocket and unfolded it for him. Scarface's expression changed. That's the head nurse's personal autograph. I smiled cheerfully. She agreed to let us up here to fight the boss. If you block me, you're disrespecting her. She's waiting right downstairs at the nurse's station. You want me to call her up for a chat? Scarface's face cycled between green and white. One of his lackeys whispered from behind. Boss, I actually saw them walk right past the head nurse earlier. Shut up. Scarface glared at him, then turned to me. You fucking set us up? Set you up? I laughed. You guys hijacked our dungeon first. I'm just giving you a taste of your own medicine. Fine. Scarface gritted his teeth. You win this round. Pull out. He led his team toward the back door. As he passed me, he lowered his voice. Don't let me catch you outside. I smiled. Likewise. They pushed the back door open and stepped out. 3 seconds later, horrific screams echoed from outside. Baldy peeked out and turned pale. Holy shit, the back door leads straight to a cliff. Ponytail was equally stunned. Wait, didn't you just say there was a trap at the back door? Yeah. I nodded. I didn't lie. There is a trap designed by the game at the back door. I just didn't say I put it there. Glasses. Silent Guy. Baldy. You even trick your own team? I blinked innocently. I warned you guys. The back door was flashing red from the start. If that's not a trap, what is? They had absolutely nothing to say to that. The boss room was at the very end of the 3rd floor. The door was slightly ajar, and low, heavy breathing came from inside. I pushed the door open. Attending physician, B rank. HP, 3000/3000. Moderate attack, moderate defense. Special skill, infection. If hit, it applies an undispellable damage over time debuff that can only be tanked with health potions. Baldy felt his scalp tingle. How the hell are we supposed to fight this? Ponytail had already started assigning roles. I'll pull aggro, you DPS, you support you. Hold on. I interrupted her. Who said anything about using a conventional strategy? She froze. Then how do we fight it? I pulled something out of my pocket. Tattered stethoscope, D rank. An old possession of the attending physician. The holder temporarily gains the status of patient, taking half damage from attacks for 10 minutes. I had casually swiped it from the nurse's station earlier. I hung the stethoscope around my neck and walked into the boss room. The attending physician saw me and paused. You are a patient. I clutched my chest and started coughing. Cough, cough. Doctor, my chest hurts. The attending physician's aggro instantly locked onto me, but his attack desire noticeably plummeted. The patient status was working. He walked over and used his stethoscope on me. Lungs sound clear. Heartbeat is normal. He frowned. You're not sick. Then maybe it hurts here. I pointed to my stomach. He listened again. No issues there either. Then maybe here. I pointed to my head. Outside, Baldy was stomping his feet in anxiety. What the hell is he doing? Is he just feeding the boss a kill? Ponytail couldn't understand it either. I don't know, but he's successfully holding the boss's aggro. I continued playing a game of guess where it hurts with the doctor. 5 minutes passed, and the physician's patience finally ran out. He ripped off his stethoscope, his face darkening. Are you messing with me? No, no, no. I waved my hands frantically. I'm really sick, and you're the only one who can cure it. He narrowed his eyes. What sickness? I pulled out the head nurse's personal autograph from my pocket and unfolded it for him. The attending physician's expression dramatically changed. Where did you get that? Sister nurse gave it to me, I said. She mentioned you two were old colleagues, used to work together at the hospital. She asked me to pass a message along to you. What message? I leaned in close to his ear and lowered my voice. She said, Old Zhang, those 5 exploiters on the 3rd floor are an eyesore. Deal with them for me, and I'll buy you a coffee afterward. The attending physician's pupils quaked. Did she really say that? Absolutely true. I didn't even blink. He fell silent for 3 seconds. Then, he turned around and marched straight toward the back door. The moment he pushed the door open, the 5 unlucky bastards who had just managed to climb back up from the cliff appeared before him. Scarface. What the fuck? Why is it you again? The attending physician didn't give them a chance to speak. 3 minutes later, Scarface and his crew were tossed back off the cliff. The attending physician dusted off his hands, walked back into the boss room, and nodded at me. Tell your head nurse the coffee's on me. Then he returned to his original spot and went back to being a boss. Except his aggro had been completely reset to 0. Clear condition met. Defeat the attending physician and obtain the hospital pass. The system notification rang out. Baldy and the others looked completely bewildered. That counts as defeating him. Ponytail was equally dumbfounded. But we didn't even fight. I walked over, pulled the hospital pass out of the attending physician's pocket, and turned back to them. Let's go. Wait. Baldy stopped me. How are we splitting the clear reward? I looked at him. Distribution is based on contribution. I just solo-handled the boss while you guys stood around and watched. According to the rules, I take 100%. Got a problem with that. Baldy's face flushed bright red. Hey, are you trying to cheat us? Cheat you. I laughed. What did I say before I let you on the 3rd floor? Obey orders. Don't rush blindly. Follow my lead. Did you obey? Did you not rush blindly? Did you follow my lead? He choked, unable to form a rebuttal. Ponytail was very calm. I have no objections. He really did solo the boss. I didn't contribute, so it's only right I don't get the reward. Silent Guy nodded in agreement. Glasses obviously had no objections. 3 against 1. Baldy lost. I listed the hospital pass on the public trading room for 3,000 black sheep coins. 3 seconds later, it was instantly bought. Account balance, 2,700. The chat went completely insane. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. What kind of monster is this guy? From debt to positive numbers in just one afternoon. I bowed down. I completely bowed down. Is that strat something a human brain can even come up with? God, are you taking disciples? I ignored the chat and led Glasses out of the dungeon. There were 18 hours left on the 24-hour countdown. My account balance, 2,700 black sheep coins. Novice quest, completed. Glasses trailed behind me, asking cautiously, Bro, where are we going next? To get some food. Food. There are restaurants in the game, I said. New Oriental Noodle House, 3rd floor, Sector C, 50 coins a bowl. Let's go, it's my treat. His eyes lit up. Really? Really? The noodle shop wasn't crowded. We found a corner booth and ordered 2 bowls of beef noodle soup. Glasses wolfed his down like a starving animal, while I took my time, slowly twirling the noodles. A system notification popped up on my screen. Congratulations to player 8847 for completing the Novice Quest. Rewards: Novice Starter Pack X1, 500 Black Sheep Coins X1, C-Rank Title, Profiteer X1. Detected that player's assets have surpassed 3,000 Black Sheep Coins for the first time. Unlocked: Trading Market Advanced Privileges. Detected that player cleared the B-Rank Dungeon, Abandoned Hospital. Achievement unlocked: First Taste of Blood. Granted permanent use of the party badge. I read through them one by one, then tapped on the Profiteer title. Profiteer, C-Rank. When equipped, The system tax in the public trading room is reduced to 5%. Grants special skill. Haggle. Prices fluctuate plus or minus 20% when trading with NPCs. Good stuff. I equipped the title and went back to eating my noodles. Glasses suddenly put down his chopsticks and asked quietly, "Bro, why did you carry me?" I looked up at him. "What? You clearly could have cleared it by yourself. Taking me along was just dead weight." He picked at his fingers. "I didn't help at all, and I'm even eating up half the money you spent on noodles." I stayed silent for a moment. Then I said, "Do you know why I saved you back there?" He shook his head. "Because when I started, I was in a worse spot than you," I said. "I was 2,850 in debt, standing there in nothing but my boxers, being laughed at by the entire server. I know exactly how that feels." He froze. "As long as you're alive, you've got to have something to hold on to." I went back to eating. "I saved you not because you were useful, but because you were the first living, breathing person I ran into in this game. That's all." His eyes turned red. "Bro, don't cry." I knocked him lightly on the head. "Finish your food and go to sleep. We have more dungeons to farm tomorrow." "Oh." He lowered his head and kept eating. I leaned back in my chair, staring out the window at the virtual sky, lost in thought. This game was strange. Everything here was fake, yet the warmth and coldness of human nature were incredibly real. After eating, I walked Glasses back to the novice dorms. On the way, a server-wide announcement suddenly popped up in the public channel. Zone announcement. Player 7777 has successfully cleared the A-rank dungeon, Crimson Hotel. Reward. Rare item spatial key, X1, 50,000 black sheep coins. The chat exploded again. Holy shit, 7777 cleared another one. This guy is a true god. 2 A-rank dungeons in 3 days. I heard he's a pro player who makes a living farming dungeons. Please carry me. I glanced at it, didn't think much of it, and kept walking. Suddenly, a hand blocked my path. I looked up. Scarface stood in front of me, backed by 7 or 8 of his guys. He smiled maliciously. What a coincidence. We meet again. I took a step back. What do you want? What do I want? He sneered. You set me up twice and left me hanging off a cliff for 3 hours. What do you think I want? Glasses stepped in front of me. Don't you bully my bro. Scarface kicked him aside. Roll away. Glasses tumbled across the ground and struggled to get back up. I looked at him, my eyes turning cold. You want to do this right here? I asked. What? Scared. Scarface leaned in close. I'll give you 2 choices. First, pay me 50,000 black sheep coins, and we call it even. Second, I cripple you and make you start as a novice all over again. 50 grand. I only had a little over 3,000 in my account. Even if I sold everything I owned, I wouldn't have anywhere near that. I don't have that much money, I said. Then I have no choice. Scarface waved his hand. Boys, get him. The 7 or 8 men started closing in. I took a deep breath and opened my holographic screen. Then, I posted a message in the all-server channel. Hiring, B rank or higher. Looking for obedient players. Coordinates, Sector C, outside New Oriental Noodle House. Pay, 500 black sheep coins / hour. Paid instantly. The public channel went silent for 3 seconds. Then it blew up. Holy fuck, 500 an hour. Is this guy insane? Me. I'm B rank. I'm A rank. Let me do it. The chat scrolled furiously. Scarface froze. What are you doing? Hiring bodyguards, I said. 3 minutes later, over a dozen people dropped from the sky, forming a protective circle around me. I scanned the crowd, doing quick mental math. 500 an hour times over a dozen people was 5 or 6,000. I couldn't afford that. I'm only hiring 1. No extras. I quickly corrected myself. The crowd clicked their tongues in disappointment and scattered. Only player 7,777 remained, looking at me with a half smile. He glanced at me. 500 an hour? I nodded. Paid instantly. He laughed. Interesting. It's the first time someone's had the guts to hire me like this. Scarface looked positively sick. 7,777? What are you doing here? 7777 ignored him and just looked at me. How do you want to handle these guys? I pointed at Scarface. He just said he was going to cripple me. 7777 nodded and turned to Scarface. Did you hear that? Scarface's legs gave out. Boss, I'm sorry. I didn't know he was with you. Well, now you know. 7777 waved his hand. Get lost. If I catch you bullying newbies again, I'll cripple you. Scarface scrambled away, half crawling in his panic. The 7 or 8 guys behind him ran even faster. 7777 turned back to me. Satisfied. I transferred 250 black sheep coins to his account. That's for half an hour's work. Thanks. He glanced at the transaction record and raised an eyebrow. Half an hour? From the time you arrived to the time you chased them off was only 5 minutes, I said. The extra is your tip. He laughed. Interesting. I've never seen someone make being a cheapskate sound so elegant. Let's go. I helped Glasses up. Wait, he called out. What's your name? I looked back. What? Wanna add me? He smiled. I do. It's my first time seeing a newbie like you. You're pretty interesting. I thought about it, then opened my screen. ID 8847. Call me whatever you want. After adding him as a friend, I supported Glasses and we headed back. From behind me came 7777's voice, 8847. Remember my ID, 7777. Next time you run into trouble, call me directly. I didn't look back. I just waved a hand. Back at the dorms, Glasses was still rubbing his stomach. Bro, that top-tier guy from earlier, do you know him? Nope. I lay down on the bed. First time we met. Then why did he help you? Because I paid him, I said. 250 black sheep coins. He only worked for 5 minutes, but I paid him for half an hour. He made a profit, and I didn't lose out. Glasses was quiet for a moment, then whispered, but bro, didn't we just make a huge enemy? That Scarface guy. I glanced at my account balance, 2865. It's unavoidable. I smiled. Besides, I added that pro player. Next time we run into trouble, I'll just call in the cavalry. Nothing to worry about. Glasses nodded, seeming to understand slightly. Go to sleep. I rolled over. We have to get up early tomorrow. Where are we going? To collect some junk. The next morning, I was woken up by a system notification. Zone announcement. Player 8847 has triggered the hidden achievement, Original Profiteer. Reward, C-rank item, Universal Megaphone X1, 1000 black sheep coins X1. Detected that player completed 3 B rank or higher transactions within 24 hours. Unlocked. Special title Golden Abacus. I rubbed my eyes, sat up, and opened my screen. Account balance, 3850. Not bad. Glasses was still asleep. I didn't wake him. I quietly slipped out. Today's target, the largest supply hub in the novice zone, the black market. The black market was located in the deepest part of the novice zone. The entrance was hidden behind an inconspicuous grocery store. After walking down a long, narrow corridor, the space suddenly opened up. It looked like an underground plaza packed to the brim with stalls. People were selling weapons, potions, intel, gear, absolutely everything. I took a walk around and quickly got a feel for the market prices. Temporary party badge, buy at 1200, sell at 2000. Net profit, 800. Minor health potion, buy at 350, sell at 500. Net profit, 150. Broken weapons, buy at 100 to 200. Repair and sell for 800 plus. Net profit, 600 plus. I took a deep breath and started sweeping the goods. By noon, I had carefully calculated and spent more than half of my 3,000 plus coins, bringing back a massive haul of inventory. When Glasses woke up at noon and saw me, I was squatting in a corner taking stock. His eyes bulged. Bro, what are you? Stocking up. I didn't look up. We sell in the afternoon and collect the cash tonight. He paused, then squatted down to help me count. At 2 p.m., I set up a stall in the most prominent spot in the black market. The sign read 4 large words, the junk collector. The chat started up again. What is this guy doing now? Spent all his money on inventory in the morning, and now he's setting up a junk stall in the afternoon. He really isn't afraid of going bankrupt, huh? I ignored them and started pitching. Step right up, don't miss out. Premium supplies, honest prices. My first customer was a tall, skinny, middle-aged man. He squatted down and dug through the goods. These items are pretty interesting. I smiled. You have a good eye? Pick whatever you want. The price is negotiable. He picked 3 things. Temporary party badge, X1. Minor health potion, X5. Broken weapon, X2. How much? I quickly did the math. Badge is 2000. Potions are 500 each, so 5 is 2,500. 2 weapons total 1,600. Grand total is 6,100. I'll knock off the extra and give it to you for 6,000 flat. He frowned. That's expensive. Market price for a badge is only 2,000. Potions can be bought for 480, and you want 800 for broken weapons. I kept a straight face. Market price is market price, but having inventory on hand is different. If you go to the public market, you have to wait in line, and you might not even get it. My goods are here, ready to use right now. Time is life. Tell me, is it worth it? He was silent for a moment. Then he pulled out the black sheep coins. Deal. First transaction, complete. After that, the customers kept pouring in. I was buying and selling simultaneously, money flowing in the left hand and out the right, busy beyond belief. By nightfall, my stall was completely empty. I checked my balance, 10,300. Just broke the 10 grand mark. I dusted off my hands and stood up. Glasses was staring at me in absolute shock. 10,000? His mouth hung open, unable to speak. I patted his shoulder. Let's go get dinner. Big meal tonight, my treat. At 10 p.m., Glasses and I had just walked out of the restaurant when the system notification rang out again. Zone announcement. Player 8847 has triggered the hidden event Black Market Rising Star. Reward. B-rank item Skeleton Key X1, 5,000 Black Sheep Coins X1. Detected that player's assets have surpassed 10,000 Black Sheep Coins for the first time. Unlocked. Trading Market Diamond Privileges. Detected that player completed over 10 B-rank or higher transactions within 48 hours. Unlocked. Special Achievement Business Prodigy. The chat completely lost it. Holy fuck, making 10K in a single day? What kind of freak is this guy? Black Market Rising Star? That title is insane. Where's 5566? Your ex-boyfriend is making bank. What are you doing? I saw that last comment, and a smirk tugged at the corner of my mouth. I checked the public channel. Sure enough, 5566 hadn't said a word. I closed the screen, thinking to myself, this is just the beginning. Glasses was completely numb at this point. Bro, are we still collecting junk tomorrow? I thought about it. We're taking tomorrow off. Taking it off? Yeah, I said. We're gonna go run a dungeon for fun. A dungeon? Yup. I opened my screen and pulled up the dungeon list. Crimson Hotel. A rank. 50K clear reward. Just right for a little warm-up. Glasses almost tripped. B-bro, are you insane? That's an A rank. The highest in the novice zone. That's exactly why we're going. I closed the screen. I did some digging. The boss of that dungeon is a hoarder. He specializes in collecting rare and bizarre items. And it just so happens, I have exactly what he wants. Glasses froze. What do you have? I just smiled and didn't answer. 9 a.m. the next morning. Outside the Crimson Hotel. I stood there waiting. At 9:10, 7,777 appeared around the corner. He walked up to me. Are you sure you want to run this dungeon? I nodded. I'm sure. A-rank dungeon. 70% mortality rate. He stared at me. You're a newbie. What makes you think you can survive? I pulled something out of my pocket. Head nurse's personal autograph. 7777 raised an eyebrow. Just this. I pulled out a second item. Attending physician's stethoscope. His expression shifted. Where did you get those? Farmed them yesterday. Farmed them yesterday? He frowned. Abandoned hospital? That's a B-rank dungeon. Both of these are NPC exclusive items. How did you get them? I smiled. Bought them. Made a deal with the head nurse and the attending physician. He went completely silent. Then he said, You really are. What? Interesting. He laughed. Fine, I'll run it with you. But let me make one thing clear. You can't buy off the boss of this dungeon with money. I pulled out the universal megaphone. That's why I brought this. He looked at the megaphone and suddenly asked, Did you calculate everything in advance, knowing I would show up? I blinked at him. What do you think? He didn't answer. He just pushed the hotel doors open. I followed him inside. Behind us, the chat was exploding again. Holy crap, this bro actually entered an A-rank dungeon. And he brought an A-rank god with him. What is he trying to do? I don't know, but I'm officially hyped. The Crimson Hotel was in a completely different league compared to the abandoned hospital. The moment we walked in, we ran into the first wave of monsters. Wraith bellhops, C+ rank, numbering 20+. 7777 cleared the room by himself in under 3 minutes. I stood by and watched, quietly taking notes on his combat style and skill rotation. Let's go. He put his weapons away. Floor 2 is going to be more annoying. Wait. I stopped him and shoved a bottle into his hand. Major health potion, B rank. Market price, 1,500 a pop. He looked down at it. From you. Yeah, I said. I noticed you used 2 major skills just now. Must have drained a lot of stamina. Drink up. He froze for a second, then laughed. You really are. He didn't finish the sentence. He just downed the potion. We kept heading up. On the 2nd floor, we ran into an elite mob. Wraith Supervisor. B rank. 5,000 HP. High attack, high speed. 7777 fought for 10 minutes before finally grinding it down. He lost more than half his HP in the process. I handed him a second bottle. He drank it, then asked, "How many of these did you prepare?" "Enough for you to reach the end." He stared at me, his gaze shifting. "What exactly are you trying to do?" I smiled. "I told you. Just running a dungeon. You don't sink this kind of capital just to run a dungeon." He pointed at the empty bottle in his hand. "One of these is 1,500. You gave me 2, that's 3,000. You're going to need even more later, totaling at least 10K. What's your angle?" I didn't answer directly. "I'll tell you after we clear it." He stayed quiet for a moment, then nodded. "Fine. I'll hold you to it." 3rd floor. The boss room. Bloodstain Manager, A rank. HP, 10,000. Extremely high attack, extremely high defense. Special skill, Blood Sacrifice. Every 10% HP lost summons a wave of wraiths to assist in battle. 7777 looked at the health bar, his expression grave. "I can't solo this thing." I nodded. "I know. Then why are you here?" I pulled out the 3 items from my pocket and laid them on the floor. Head nurse's personal autograph. Attending physician's stethoscope. Universal megaphone. Then, I turned on the megaphone and shouted at the boss. "Bloodstain Manager, I hear you're a hoarder." The boss turned around, his crimson eyes locking onto me. "You have something I want," I said. "And I have something you want. How about we make a trade?" The boss was silent for 3 seconds. Then he spoke, his voice raspy. "What are you offering?" I pointed at the 3 items on the floor. "These 3. Exclusive items from a B-rank dungeon. One of a kind on the entire server. Is that enough to buy your life?" The boss stared at the 3 items for a long time. Then he laughed. The laugh was eerie and terrifying, but I noticed his health bar dropped by 1 segment. 7777's eyes went wide. He laughed. I was stunned too. What does laughing mean? The next second, the boss spoke. "Interesting. You're the first player who's dared to bargain with me." He pulled an item out of his pocket and tossed it over. Spatial key, A rank. Can unlock hidden treasure chests in any dungeon. Consumable. Then he said, "I'll take these 3 items. You 2 may leave." I caught the key, completely bewildered. "That's it." The boss looked at me. "What? Did you want to fight?" No, no, no. I shook my head vigorously. "Thank you, boss. So generous, boss. Wishing you good health and prosperity, boss." I grabbed 7777 and ran. Outside the dungeon, 7777 grabbed me by the collar. "Who the fuck are you, really?" I looked at him and blinked. "A junk collector." "A junk collector who makes deals with A-rank bosses?" "Yeah." I pointed at the key in his hand. "Didn't the deal just go through?" He stared at the key and fell silent for a long, long time. Finally, he said, "The question you asked me earlier. I can answer it now." "What question?" "You asked me what my angle was." He looked me dead in the eye. "My angle is you." I froze. He continued, "I've been in this game for 3 months. I've seen every kind of person. Strong ones, smart ones, ruthless ones. But I've never seen anyone like you. A newbie starting with negative debt who has the balls to make deals with bosses. Someone who bets their entire net worth on a single gamble. That kind of guts, that kind of brain, you're worth investing in." I laughed. "Are you trying to recruit me as your underling?" "Not an underling," he said. "A partner. You use your brain, I use my fists. We split the profits 50-50ths. How about it?" I thought about it. "Sure. But I have one condition." "What condition?" "You're not the boss." He froze. "What? You're not the boss?" I repeated. "I don't play sidekick. We only talk money." He was quiet for 3 seconds. Then he laughed. "Deal. We only talk money." After saying goodbye to 7777, I returned to the novice dorms. Glasses was already asleep. I lay on my bed, opened my screen, and looked at the number in my account, 12,300. In less than 3 days, I had gone from being 2,850 in debt to having 12,300 in the bank. Enough to clear my debt, enough to live on, and enough to establish a foothold in this game. The virtual sky outside the window slowly began to brighten. I rolled over, ready to sleep. I closed the screen and shut my eyes. The next day, I listed a batch of rare supplies on the public trading room. These were goods I had bought at rock-bottom prices with the money I made from the black market. Market value was at least 20,000. As soon as the listing went live, I received a private message. Sender, 5566. I'll take this batch. I'll give you 5,000. If you know what's good for you, you'll accept the deal. I laughed. She thought I was still the same pushover she had shoved onto the subway tracks. I replied, 5,000? Keep dreaming. 3 seconds later, she sent another message, 10,000. Don't be ungrateful when I'm doing you a favor. I ignored her and listed the goods straight to the trading floor with a 25,000 price tag. 10 minutes later, the batch was instantly bought out by an anonymous buyer. 5 minutes after that, my ex-girlfriend's DMs exploded. Did you do that on purpose, you piece of shit? I casually replied, what's wrong? You resort to cursing when you can't afford something? You're still exactly the same, broke and classless. She was silent for a long time before sending one final message. You think you're so great just because you have a little bit of dirty money? I glanced at my account balance, 37,300, took a screenshot, and sent it to her. She never replied again. Glasses, who had watched the whole exchange from the sidelines, asked cautiously, Bro, who was that? I closed my screen. A dead person. That afternoon, the system notification suddenly chimed. Detected that players' assets have surpassed 40,000 Black Sheep coins. Reward, 10,000 Black Sheep coins. Unlocked, trading market supreme privileges. Detected that player completed 3A rank or higher transactions. Unlocked, special title Business Tycoon. I glanced at my account balance, 47,300. The chat went completely feral. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. 50K in 4 days? Is this guy using hacks? I surrender. I completely surrender to him. God, please carry me. With a deadpan expression, I ignored the chat and pulled the covers over my head. Bro, aren't you excited? Glasses was still yelling. You're a legendary tier player now. Legendary tier players still need to sleep. I mumbled from under the blanket. Keep yelling, and I'm throwing you out. He shut up. The virtual sunlight streamed through the window, warm and comforting. I rolled over, a faint smile touching the corners of my mouth. This was just the beginning. A few days later, I was strolling through the novice zone when I ran right into someone. My ex-girlfriend had lost a massive amount of weight. Her gear was in tatters, and the arrogance in her eyes was completely gone. When she saw me, she froze, then forced a smile. Xiaoyu, long time no see. I looked at her. Who are you? Her face stiffened. Oh, I remember now. I smiled. The one who called me trash in the public channel. Her face went deathly pale. Xiaoyu, I was wrong. I was really wrong. For the sake of the 3 years we were together, please lend me some money. Lend. I pulled out my megaphone and sent a message to the all-server channel. Collecting junk. Trading trash for lives. Special item for retrieval, 1 scum ex-girlfriend. Offering 1 Black Sheep coin. The public channel erupted in laughter and LMEOS. My ex-girlfriend's face flushed bright red, and she turned to run. Wait. I called out. She looked back, a tiny glimmer of hope in her eyes. I pulled a single Black Sheep coin from my pocket and flicked it so it landed right at her feet. A tip for you, I said. Take it and get lost. She stood there, trembling violently, unable to move for a long time. I turned and walked away. Behind me, her devastated wails finally broke the silence. Glasses followed closely behind me, whispering, Bro, you looked so cool just now. What's so cool about it? I dusted off my hands. Let's go. We have another business deal this afternoon. Where to? To collect some junk.